taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we are going to take a look at a replay in the Dunkerque. Yes, I do still very much enjoy this Dunkerque. It is a great battleship at Tier 6. Really do enjoy her. Now, speaking of Tier 6 battleships, and the Christmas crates, I did tell you guys that I got a Warspite, but a few days ago I also got an Arizona from a crate that a subscriber sent, and that was pretty great. Arizona, though, I've only taken her out once, and wasn't thrilled, I guess. Maybe it was just a bad game, I suppose. But I have really been enjoying having these Tier 6 battleships, the Dunkerque, the Warspite, and I'm sure eventually the Arizona, just to be able to play them for a change of pace, because I, still am just grinding away the old Tier 8s through 10s. Really enjoying that as well. But the change of pace at Tier 6, and the fact, of course, that they're premium, get a bunch of money, because there's a lot of money to be had right now, given all of the holiday events that they have going on here in-game. I'm wondering if every one of you have gotten all of your medals for the secret achievement thing they have going on. Of course, I have. I took the advice from you guys, and I did go into co-op to finish the that torpedo and aircraft carrier challenge thing. So I went ahead and did it that way, and I think I had to play three co-op battles to get it done. The problem was that it was just such a rollover against the computer that it was a struggle just to get to the aircraft carrier and kill it fast enough before the battle would just end in an outright victory. But I did manage it, and it's done fantastic, and I'm hoping that everyone else goes ahead and does that as well, because apparently we need certain numbers of people to achieve these sorts of things for us to continue to get these prizes. That's where that mystery box has been coming from. If you were wondering, in your port, every now and then it shows up. Usually has about 3 items in it. That is for more gaming, and it is because we're reaching certain milestones on people achieving these results. So hopefully everyone is working hard on those, because everyone wants to earn those final prizes. Anyway, into the battle at hand. You can see that we're on straight, and I did start on the not so great side. I don't like starting over here on the west side. Throughout Supremacy League, this map really was just something else. I mean, the fact that you had to play it on Tier 8 as well was ridiculous, but anyway. The east side gets a big advantage by having the split in the landmass there for players to be able to get into the B cap zone, basically entirely undercover until you're actually in the cap zone. Now, this team doesn't really make use of that, but when the teams do and your own domination, it's pretty frightful. But anyway, launching some shots off here at the old Bayern in the distance. I really do like the Dunkerque because, yeah, she has a great potential to do a whole bunch of damage. Her reload is real good. You can sail bow onto things, and I mean, you'll notice as well that I am maneuvering around because I don't like the idea of just going bow onto something and then putting it into a slow reverse away from that something. I just don't like that idea. It doesn't sit well with me at all, so I'm trying to time my turns in between the incoming shots of the enemies. Also, I'm trying to sail away from the enemy as much as I possibly can. Being able to avoid incoming shots is pretty great as well, but when you're in a battleship, it's not so easy to do all the time. In this instance, I'm getting lucky in that the Baron isn't really focused on me right now. You saw some high explosive rounds go out towards one of my allies. If we look at the guns of the Baron, we only notice that they're kind of pointed at me now, right? They're slowly turned towards me, so I can expect some shots, but maybe I can use the landmass here as some cover. I did take out one of the main turrets on the Bayern as well, which is fantastic. Really hoping that that is going to maybe convince the player not to shoot at me. Maybe. No, it doesn't look like that's going to work. Now, this player does take up some good angling against me. Again, fires off the high explosive. Not 100% sure why, because, you know, the Dunkirk does not have that great armor, especially when you get shots in on the side of her. The armor is very, very lackluster, which is part of the reason why she's a little, you know, a little faster than some of the other battleships at the tier. But you know, when we get close in like this, the guns of the Dunkirk really do start to rip through things, regardless of what those things are. These guns are just gonna, you know, have at it and destroy stuff. So we get some shots into the Bjorn, and they do nothing, of course, because I mentioned how great they are. It just so happens to coincide with the time when they do no damage. That's how these things work. That's how it always works. But anyway, we do like 1160. So we get 1 over penetration, but more importantly, we do have to maneuver against this enemy battleship, right? Because I just mentioned, you know, the armor on the Dunkirk is not so great. I do have some other enemies I need to worry about. I have a much better shot now on the enemy Bayern, so I go ahead and put some shots into the side. No citadel, but some massive amounts of damage. Maybe one more salvo like that, and I might be able to finish the player off, unless one of my allies comes in here and helps and saves the day. Helps to save the day. We do see that in fact does happen. Fantastic. We don't need to worry about the enemy Bayern anymore, but now we can switch to some of these other targets that we see off in the distance. Luckily as well, I have been avoiding all of these incoming planes because we see them swirling around out there, and yes, been able to avoid most of them. They haven't actually come at me, so this is good. Enemy Graf Spee there off in the distance, give the player a nice citadel there, that's not too bad at all. Do a bit more damage, and we can see the enemy planes are getting chased out by our friendly aircraft carrier. Excellent. Enemy aircraft carrier is now gone as well, so this is also good. We don't have to worry about the enemy airplanes coming in anymore and harassing us. That player is gone. We just need to focus on killing some of these enemies. So up there in the north, if we take a look at the minimap, we can see that my allies not doing too well up there, so we are going to need to make our way up there slowly but surely. We do see as well that the enemy Graf Spee has managed to ground himself and paid in for that with another citadel. Player is on really low health, so maybe I can finish the player off, or one of my allies can come in and finish him off. Doesn't matter. As long as the player goes down, I'm going to be happy. Working in now on this channel here on the eastern side of the map. So a bit of a mixed bag in this channel. I don't generally like going in here in a battleship because you can see there are enemy ships there in the channel halfway up, right? So I don't want to go in there and get torped by them or get surprised by them or anything like that. We got to keep in mind there's a Furataka over there, so that Furataka could do some torpedo damage to us. We saw the enemy Nuremberg there off in the distance, so close. I almost finished the player off, but 2 citadels and did some massive damage, so hopefully that player isn't going to be able to accomplish too much more during this battle. We see the enemy Furataka now. I'm very aware, like I said, of the torpedoes, and I want to get my shots off, and then I want to kind of angle myself so I'm going to be able to easily dodge torpedoes or miss torpedoes, right? So that's why I'm turning away from the player now, because I figure there are torpedoes in the water. I don't want to have anything to do with those torpedoes. Do have the heal ability, so we're going to pop that there and start getting some heals going here as well. Hopefully this is going to help us out, because we do still have a few enemy ships remaining, and we are about even with the enemy right now, so we want to press our advantage, right? Enemies don't have the aircraft carrier, we still do, so we want to make use of this as best as we possibly can. We see the Furataka is frantically trying to get away, and we do see the enemy Nuremberg there off in the distance. I'm not going to press my luck into this channel anymore. I am going to go up through the center of the map, see what I can do about some of these enemy battleships that do seem to be harassing some of my players who are still alive in the north, and some of my allies who are attempting to you know, make their way to the north as well. So we see the enemy cruiser there off in the distance. We put a few shots into the player, do a bit of damage. Player's on fire as well, so this is good. Hopefully the fire will burn, and you know, we can just add to that player getting killed quicker. We see a group of enemies pop up over there, and they all seem to be relatively broadside to me, pretty close as well. Most of them, I think just one of them isn't in my range, so I should be able to get some pretty decent shots out. Do some more damage. Now in terms of damage, this battle we have done pretty decently, over 100,000 damage, which is not too bad at all. More shots go off into the enemy Congo over there, and again do some good damage, good solid damage, and the enemy Congo, you know, doesn't seem to even notice that I'm here. We are eventually going to take some incoming shots here from the Congo though, so we do want to still try to angle ourselves against the player while we still have the player sort of surprised, right? Taking a look at the player, it's only now, well not even now, that the player realizes that we're here. So we get our second salvo off. We can see the player's guns are now turning towards me. There we go. There's a nice little hit, and there is the old high caliber medal. Fantastic. Everyone loves getting one of those because those flags are pretty damn decent. I think it's minus 5% to consumable reload time, which is very, very good indeed. Anyway, enemy Congo has taken some massive damage. You can see my allies are pelting away at the player as well. We do see some enemies there off in the distance that I do need to be aware of because I don't want to go, more or less broadside onto these people and just start taking massive amounts of damage. I do have some hit points remaining, but I want to try and conserve as much as I possibly can. We take down the Congo. This is good. We're sitting at about 132,000 damage. Not too shabby at all, but we do still have a number of enemy to deal with here. We see the enemy Cleveland off in the distance, as well as that enemy Nuremberg. Enemy Nuremberg is still holding on. We can't get rid of that guy. No, not just yet. So turning into the enemy now, hoping to be able to take some more of these players down as quick as I possibly can. We can see our shots go into the enemy Cleveland. Managed to do some damage to a main turret there, but nothing too significant. Not the massive amount of citadels I was hoping for with the massive amount of damage and potentially the extra kill. But whatever, we gotta take what we get here, so we're gonna just continue along, going basically straight at the enemy, taking a very aggressive posture here as well. Want to do something quickly to these enemies and, just start racking up the damage, get the battle basically over, because we do have a really good advantage right now, as long as we just compress it. So we managed to get the Citadel through the bow on the enemy cruiser. Excellent, excellent. I love doing that. And we get a Confederate medal there as well, so fantastic. More medals to pin to our chest. This is good. We can see the enemy cruiser is basically charging us, but having second thoughts, you know that this is an emerald, so the player is slowing down, getting ready to pop the smoke. So we're going to throw some more armor piercing in at the player, and hopefully that'll do some damage. All over pens, of course. Get lucky with the one citadel though, that was pretty good. We can see our secondary batteries opening up. The secondary battery on the Dunkirk isn't too bad. It's nothing, spectacular that you're gonna get on the Dunkirk that you're not gonna get on another enemy or another battleship at this tier. So nothing really to gawk at. We see the enemy New Mexico there. Enemy New Mexico does look to be stock, and I'm gonna put some shots right into the side of this player. I don't know what this player was thinking, but there we go. 2 citadels and the enemy New Mexico is dead. Yeah. Oh well, whatever. Managed to do it. Sitting on about 174,000 damage right now, which isn't too bad at all. We still have the enemy Emerald to deal with, and we see an enemy Oba off in the distance. Or is it an Oba? No, that's an Oba. Now I am concerned about the Oba because obviously this player has some decent torpedoes, and I really don't want those torpedoes to come in and ruin my day because they definitely can do it. 10-kilometer range, decent amount of damage. I do have my repair available to me should I take any flooding, but I don't really have that many hit points, and I'd probably take about at least 1, maybe 2 of those torpedoes, and it could be pretty significant. We do see some torpedoes coming in fact, from the enemy destroyer there off in the distance, so we are going to try and avoid these torpedoes, do some evasive maneuvers here, and see what we can do about not taking anything. Need to get our guns turned around on the enemy cruiser there off in the distance, but we do still want to be aware of, obviously, the enemy destroyer and the enemy Aoba there that's in front of us as well. I'm not really going to push into this smoke. I don't really want to go for it. We see the enemy Emerald pop up quickly there, and we know that torpedoes are probably going to be coming at us. There's the Emerald, so we're going to start turning. I do fire at the enemy Cleveland. Oh, I was so close to taking out the Cleveland. Whatever. We see some friendly torpedoes coming in as well. Looks like the enemies are making their play to out of the channel. One of my allies manages to finish off the Emerald, which is fantastic. Target the enemy destroyer with my secondary battery, and I'm going to keep my main battery on the enemy Cleveland over here because I'm already in a pretty good, maneuver away from the enemy destroyer, so I figured just let my secondary battery work over that player, finish off the Cleveland, because the Cleveland, there we go, is just going to set me on fire. Managed to avoid the enemy destroyer torpedoes, which is really fantastic, and my secondary battery is still working over the enemy destroyer. One of my allies comes in, saves the day, takes out the enemy destroyer. Fantastic. Wow. Did a bunch of damage, did a bunch of things, things got a little real, but we did take care of it, and there's only one enemy player remaining, and looks like the player is going to come out from around the island. Nope, sneaking down into the channel, trying to get away from us. It makes sense, I suppose, but I really wish the player would have stuck around for us to be able to just, take him down, call our victory. but it wasn't that bad of a game. And once again, you know, I really do enjoy this Dunkerque. When you play her to her strengths, like we kind of did here, you know, just being aware as to when the enemies are firing at you, specifically the enemy battleships, because it's those battleships that will do the massive amounts of damage to you. Now, on top of this, I mean, the cruisers are deadly because the Dunkerque has a high propensity to get caught on fire, it seems. You know, you just happen to light a match on the stern and the whole ship goes up in smoke. So you really do need to be careful about these things. But when you can get them to work for you, the Dunkerque, yeah, very, very good. And I mean, we've had a lot of new ships come into the game recently as well, and it's going to be interesting to see what the next line of new ships is going to be, what those are going to bring, and I'm especially excited for some of the other nations to come in, the French and the Italians specifically. Can't wait for that. But anyway, there we go. Victory is ours. We can finally take a look at the end result and see what we managed to walk away with. So 500,000 credits, Confederate, high caliber, 182,000 damage dealt, 7 citadels, which isn't too bad at all. Did a bunch of things, got a few kills, secondary battery hits, quite a few of those as well, which is always great. Top of the team overall with, you know, well over 2,000 base experience. In terms of damage breakdown, it was pretty good. Most of the damage went out to that poor New Mexico captain who was broadside and in a reverse. When all is said and done, I do end up walking away with 446,000 credits. Got a commander skill here as well, which is great. And, you know, extra free experience. I suppose the free experience is good. I'm not actually saving my free experience for the Mighty Mo just yet. Got a lot of other things on the go with other ships, but one day, I suppose. Anyway, folks, that is today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. Love reading those and responding back to them. Remember to hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And, of course, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.